Morning family, Pastor Tsepo here. Welcome to the Waterbrooks Ministry. I'd love to thank all the new subscribers. It's a growing channel all because of you. Today, I want us to address a subject of money. Yes, it might be a taboo in church, but it has to be talked about. We have to talk about it. After all, money affects us daily. Yes, it affects us daily. The wisest man of them all, King Solomon, in the book of Ecclesiastes 10 verse 19 said, money is an answer to all things. So if it's an answer to all things, I'm not making it up, 10 there, Ecclesiastes 10 verse 19. If it's an answer to all things, shouldn't we know how to get money, how to use money, why we should get money? Because one of the Gospels says, what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So what would it benefit us to get this money and yet lose our souls? So we need to understand why we should get the money and how to appropriate it, how to use it in our lives. So we should not run away from it or do as ostrich do, put our head in the sand. So family, without further ado, let us tackle the subject of money as modestly as we can. Let us turn to the book of Genesis 2 verse 10, which reads as follows. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it was separated into 4 headwaters. Family, I truly believe and I'm fully convinced that for us to experience Eden, I guess we first have to explain what is Eden. Eden was the garden where Adam and Eve stayed. It was paradise on earth. It was green. It had everything that Adam needed. It was awesome. So, what made it so awesome? What made it be green? Winter, summer, autumn, all the seasons. It was green. It had 4 head streams flowing through it. 4 water streams flowing through it. When you go down with the passage, it names them. But now, what I want to allude to, what I want to talk about in these 4 head streams, the Garden of Eden is where we are supposed to operate. We are supposed to operate with 4 incomes. Minimum. The Bible gives us a minimum of 4 income streams that are flowing through our lives for you to experience Eden, to experience the presence of God, for you to experience greenness, paradise here on earth. A minimum. 1 income, it's limiting. It won't do you justice. You are going to be living hand to mouth on a monthly basis. You are going to have stress. You are going to develop things that are not meant for kingdom people. You are going to high blood pressure and all those things. So 4 income streams is a minimum that you need to have. Or let me put a disclaimer there. I'm not a financial advisor. So go to financial advisors so that they can give you proper advice. I'm just teaching from a biblical perspective. Yes, family. So from a biblical perspective, what are the ways of creating 4 income streams? 1, we need to understand that we serve a God of real estate. What do I mean? He gave Adam the garden, which is land. We gave Adam land. He gave Abraham land. He gave Isaac land. The children of Israel, Canaan, land. Can you see? We serve a God of real estate. So as kingdom people, as kingdom-minded people, as Christ followers, the first thing that needs to come to mind is we need to own land. We need to go into becoming landlords. If you are not a landlord, work on becoming a landlord. We need to buy properties, whether it be student accommodation, whether it be houses that we rent out, or even buying cemeteries. People are going to die. People are going to need land to be buried in. So buy cemeteries, rent them out, sell a cemetery. Yeah, it's a funny idea, but hey, look into it. So first and foremost, we need to look at building wealth or building an income stream through property. That's one idea. Get books from Robert Kiyosaki, get other books that teach on real estate and how to acquire it and how to use it in your favor. Go seek advice in respect to that. So the second one would be skill. What skill do you have that can generate an income for you? For example, you need to develop a skill. If you are a musician, you can sing and market your music, or you write music so that you give it to other people, or whatever skill you have. Maybe you know how to clean. Monetize that skill. Find a way to monetize that skill of cleaning. Whatever skill you may have. Maybe a professional nurse. That's a skill that you have acquired. So you need to get a skill that you acquire that you can monetize and market it to your fellow neighbors, fellow community. So that would be your second income. Your third income would be royalties. What have you produced? What services can you provide that you will give you royalties. Write a book. It's also a skill. Write a book, write a poem, something that we can monetize. The social media has created immense wealth for people who have monetized their videos, monetized their skill, so you can use whatever. So family, we should not limit ourselves to only one income. So it boils down to you doing an introspection as an individual. Get to know who you are, get to know yourself, so that you can monetize your abilities or your skills. That will be your second income. Investments, family. We need to talk about investment. So how are you using your income that you have? Because family, the formula from The Richest Man in Babylon, that book, it says the formula is you need to live off 70% of your money. The 10, 10, 10. The first 10%, for those of us who in the church we believe in tithing, that will be the first 10%. You tithe to the ministry that you're in, of course. The second 10% will be savings. Savings are dead. We'll come back to that. We'll talk about that later. Savings. And the third one will be investment. What are you investing in? What are you taking your 10% and investing it in? So you live off your 70%. If you earn 10,000, you live off 7,000. The other 3,000 gets divided into 3/10, 10% tithe, 10% saving, 10% investment. Let me talk a little bit about savings. Family, when I say savings are dead, we need to understand inflation. It's at its highest at the moment. It's so ridiculously high that money that we save does not really have value. It does not grow that much. I think the highest bank that gives an interest rate now is Absa, sitting at 12.3. Anyway, let me not go into that. Savings is dead in that respect, that money does not really grow that much because of inflation. So what can you do? What can you do instead of saving? Use that 10% to start a business with it, or play around with it in terms of start a business. Yes, let's start a business. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. See what you do with that. Seek proper advice. So as I move on, family, from that subject. So we need to understand that money, as Paul says, the love of money is the root of all evil. So the question here is, what is money? Yes, we'll get to the love of money. Or is it really the root of all evil? Because if your heart, your root is rotten, then you will do evil things to acquire the money. How to get the money? That's the second question. How to get the money? If your heart is rotten, if your root is rotten, then you will do evil things. You will sell drugs, human trafficking, prostitution, all those things. But if you've got a good heart, you've got a good root, then you would go about the right way to acquire the money. Yes, family. But now, if your heart is rotten, that's my take. But now, Jesus Christ said in one of the apostles, what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it benefit a man? So we need to, at all times, make sure that Christ is centered in all these things. We do not go after money and forget that Christ is the center of all these things. He is the center. Let us not forget that. As much as we're getting understanding of what is money, because I truly believe, family, we have deviated so much from the understanding of money that we have become spiritually obese, and yet